This week, Keith pops the lid on the most shocking conspiracy he's totally invented. It turns out W.W.J.D.M.M.A might be a thing, and the Chinese have yet another aphrodisiac I'm positive you're not interested in. And it turns out the impeachment trial is not the only controversy taking place in Congress this week.
Honestly, if you think the world's flat, you don't know the half of it. Come on, ladies, sound the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
At the risk of getting brand new fans that possibly are not fans that we really actually want, we have a really interesting conspiracy theory that we invented. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later, but first I need to let you know that the next hour of your life is going to be replaced with two ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating morons ranting about opinions they have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandals, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, and maybe some conspiracy theories that are very, very, very true, as impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, in studio we have Space and Time, and also Laura and Alan from the band Space and Time.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hello.
Yes, so I figured we also have Space and Time here. We have the next hour.
We made this
and
space. We
we're
made
a
this time.
distance from each other.
Yeah.
So you're very good at this. You brought Space and Time to the studio.
You're welcome.
Live.
For you.
Live, you guys are performing both Space and Time.
Here it is.
Yes, that's very. But there's a band by the same name, right? So you guys are actually playing live down at the Pocket in Washington, D.C., which is connected to Seven Drum City. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Saturday, February 8th.
Yes.
And you'll have Space and Time there as well as music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you've got some really exciting things happening throughout the year that's coming up. You're going to tell us a little bit about the Fold sessions.
Sure.
And if people are interested in this show, other up-and-coming shows, and more music from Space and Time, check out spaceandtimeband.com.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we don't have any of your music here live on the show. Usually we'll play some clips of that, but that's because you're in the process of making some music and putting it down in recordings, right?
Yeah, and we're starting to exist like kind of live online. The videos that pop up, it's us doing our thing for real.
So that's really interesting. So we're in a time now where a lot of recordings are very produced, right? Are very edited and make sure that everything's pristine before it ever goes out. And you're saying instead of that, we're going to create something that happens in real time and exists in that moment, and then push that out there.
Yes.
That's interesting. What inspired that?
I've always been a fan of live performance.
Okay.
When I go search for new music, I don't go to the album. I go online to YouTube and I look for them doing that song, doing that thing live.
Mm-hmm.
Are they real? Can they really do it? Do they have it?
Yeah.
Can they really rock my soul?
Will they give it to me?
Or is it just Pharrell?
Is
Sorry.
it just
Is it-
Pharrell?
Is it
Auto-tune.
is it a really great set of computers that made them that sound that good? I don't
Do
know.
you think that is that less of an art? Like being able to take a computer and make music out of that?
No, not at all. Not
No,
at all.
okay.
I love electronica. I deeply love electronica. I'm a huge fan of drum and bass and jump up breaks and jungle. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's impossible without computers.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. But for me, these days, like the live musician touching that instrument and making something happen, it's king for me.
Laura, what drew you to it?
So for me, I'm a flutist. You know, I grew up with classical music.
I have to stop you for a second. Is it flutist? I've been saying it wrong all my life.
You can say either.
Flautist is
the
what I
fun
always thought it
part of
was.
You can say either.
Okay.
I actually have flutist on my license plate, and a man stopped me at the gas station and he said, "Do you flout your flute?" So, there's all these fun things you can do with it. But back to what I was saying.
I'm relieved because I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I've just for an entire, several decades, people were like, "That guy is an idiot. Why is he
Whatever
saying
you
like that?"
please. Often people ask me, and I've even done research because I've never been told one way or another, and there's no real cohesive answer. So
I mean, they
I think
still
it's
say that to me, like that guy's an idiot, but it's not because of the flautist fit. It's just all the other things I do.
people like to think what they want to think, don't they?
So as a flautist,
I can pretty much go to the intro at any one of these shows, Keith, and find plenty
Yes.
of reasons we can still do it.
Oh, it's fun.
So as a flutist,
Yeah, so I was in the classical music sphere, and so much of that, if at least all that I had experienced was, here is this piece of music that's already been written, and your job is to bring it to life, which is great. But
Yeah.
it was playing music that someone else created
very
at the end of the day.
structured.
Yeah, so exploring past me just saying, I think I'm wanting to move on from this phase to something else. I came back to this area and I fell in love with the jam scene, and the ball kept rolling with it, and that's how I ended up meeting Alan, how I ended up joining this band. And so to go from everything already being predetermined that you're supposed to regurgitate, for lack of a nicer word, to then be in this crew where everything is live. And yes, we have some melodic ideas, and we have chord changes and things that we've already agreed on and that will stay in the mix. There's still this big open space, and I feel so much more in touch with myself as a creative, being able to say that I create on stage and I am deciding what I am creating with all these people.
When you create music, do you feel like your music kind of has have scenes that you try to get to, but how you get to those is different each night?
Well
or
put.
is that how you see it? Like
A couple juicy bits that we've explored before and want to kind of regurgitate again or revisit again and expand upon.
Yeah.
Followed by or interspaced with a lot of exploration. Yeah.
So you know that there's landing spots in a given song that give you the comfort of being able to go to a place.
Yes.
But how you get there changes from night to night.
Right.
Excellent.
Have you ever seen a murmuration of starlings?
A murmuration, I did. They were above a clash of rhinos. And
next to the birder of crows?
Yeah, they were right
Naturally,
near an
naturally.
The
ostentation of
Congress
peace.
of owls? No.
No, it is a parliament of owls.
Parliament of owls.
An ostentation of peacocks. Yeah, they're fantastic.
Exactly. There's videos online of those murmurations, groupings of tens of thousands of starlings. They're having fun and flighting here and there. There's no major leader, but they're cohesive. They form these beautiful shapes spontaneously. They are fast and they're slow. They're left and they're right, but sort of always together.
Yeah, like living clouds, right? Yeah.
In a performance that is never the same twice. If it is, that'd be crazy, but it's not.
They nailed it again, those starlings.
Again. Here comes the triple barrel roll. They all got it. Wonderful, wonderful. No,
They've been practicing that so long.
their whole lives.
Yes.
To be able to have that kind of freedom, it's inherently built into this particular project. We don't do things like normal people.
That's fantastic, though. It's always the good. It's great to have music that's that you can sing along to on the radio, tap your foot to. But if we don't have the things that are on the fringes, exploring stuff like that and challenging us, we never grow in terms of what we listen to and what the next evolution of things are. So that's very exciting. I assume live is the way to see space and time.
Yeah, we want to make you dance. That's the mission statement. One word: dance.
It's a one-word mission statement. So I wanted to share with you guys, I think this is very important because you're so open-minded about art and things coming together. When we were in New Orleans 2 weeks ago, we decided to come up with a brand new conspiracy theory. And we kind of did the same thing. We just jammed on it for a little bit because we felt like with flat earth and all of these other things, there's a theme that I think that we can go on and maybe create something new. So I wanted to read you not only the conspiracy theory itself, but maybe some of the work that we've done to support it.
Do you know what you're doing though?
Yeah.
Outline to the world. You're releasing something.
Yeah.
You're taking it out of the box.
It's taken out of the box.
Are you sure you want to do that?
So here's what it is. All right. You ready?
Okay.
Reasons why volcanoes are obviously man-made. Yeah.
We all made one in preschool. That's not much of a leap.
Training.
That's true.
It's early training.
Here are some just facts that we could use. And I say facts, there's quotes around those, but so for instance,
Makes it official.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
put it on Wikipedia.
For instance, if eruptions are hard to predict, why is there always someone there to capture footage of it? If governments aren't actually setting them off, how do they know where to point the camera and when? Right, Adam?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why don't they freak out and run away?
The National Geographic nerd in me knows that the cameras are always pointed at them for that exact reason.
Oh my
But
God,
go ahead.
Should we not do devil's advocate for these? I just want you to read them. I don't want to try to put holes in them.
Wait, is this kind of like when my girlfriend is venting and like, no, she just wants me to listen and not actually?
I want you to validate my conspiracy theories.
Okay, I was never good at that, but I'll give it a try for you, babe.
Practice.
So here's a fact, right? The deeper that you drill, the hotter it gets, right?
Right.
We know that that's a fact, right? But volcanoes are some of the highest points on the planet, right? They're in mountains, and places like Death Valley are not molten.
Wow, babe, that sucks. I feel for you.
I mean, I think this is really strong.
Wow, she said what?
Yeah. No, I think just for instance, if rocks on the surface of the planet can be molten, like in volcanoes, if that's natural, right? Then wouldn't the entire surface be molten?
All of it.
All of it. Just a pool of molten.
The floor is lava.
Yeah.
All the time.
I'm just saying. How about this one, right? Did you know that let's see, where is it? This one's super important. Oh, volcanology, right, which is the study of volcanoes, is named after a fake alien race from Star Trek. Yeah. It's true. That's a thing.
Spock was a volcanologist.
There's a lot of very interesting things. So for instance, they say that volcanoes create new islands. Scientists have said this, right? New islands are created by volcanoes, right? Scientists have also said that there are volcanoes on other planets, but not a single scientist has found an island on another planet.
Suspicious.
Yeah. Huh? Right?
Suspect.
Right? There's no way that could align. This is science, people. We're talking about science.
Clearly.
So like, and then we can use things. So, the conservation of energy, right? That's a law. That's like a scientific, like theory. It's a theory of conservation of energy.
Right.
Can't create or destroy energy. If volcanoes release enough heat to melt rocks, then the core of the earth should have cooled down by now due to conservation of energy. Or there's an external fuel source like the government.
I'm now just waiting for the day that I'm old, I'm senile, my kids don't visit me anymore, and I'm in the home, and some guy starts using these exact reasons to make this exact rant.
It came back full circle.
And it's going to kick me out of senility to track your ass down and beat the shit out of you.
I'm going to make a website and sell t-shirts, and we're going to make a convention where we can bring people together to talk about how volcanoes are all man-made, and then we can put them all on a list. So we put tracking tags in their ears.
People will like run and invade calderas of volcanoes trying to look inside the machines.
Right. I feel like this is self-solving, right? Like
we'll figure it out.
Go in there and find it. And then obviously it's fake. And they're like, yeah, well, that guy did it and he died. Well, I think you'd have a better chance at it.
The government got him. You gotta be quicker.
Yeah, just go faster.
And that'd be the guy in the back one-upping like, oh, you think he's dead?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, he's not dead.
Yeah, no.
Conspiracy.
Now he's part of it.
He disappeared.
Yeah.
He switched
into
sides,
the molten
Joe.
rock, never to be seen again.
They're like, there's a weird number of people dying in volcanoes, and somehow the world's better. All right. Well, anyhow, if you have some substantial facts that you can give us to help us with our theory about all volcanoes being man-made, feel free to email us at contact@anotherwastedhour.com. Maybe we'll read those on air next week. So yeah, I think this is a movement, people. We've got this. This is going to be good.
Volcanoes.
We could have meetings at Space and Time.
man-made.
Yeah, we'll have meetings at Space and Time concerts.
Bring all of the people.
Yeah, there's just a little like cover charge. It's $100, but it's way worth it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so like the flat earthers have like a really catchy just flat earth. We need a two-word phrase Fake volcanoes.
Yes. Yeah.
Does that work?
Volcanoes not real.
Volcanoes.
Yeah, we could stretch to 3. We could try it. You know.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Volcano? No.
No. It sounds classy, right? Volcano? No. No.
300 people. No.
No.
I want to hear that.
And then like in other countries, they're like, nay.
No.
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 Volcano? No.
No. This is international, people. We're going international.
One day.
All right. Once again, Space and Time. We have here in studio Lauren and Alan playing Saturday, February 8th at the Pocket in Washington, D.C. Go check out spaceandtimeband.com for more information on that. While you do that, please keep listening because we are going to begin what we like to call the Weather Report. We're going to make you the editor-in-chief of your own brand new publication. And we're going to pitch you news from around the internet that we have found to see if we can, as your loyal reporters, earn our paychecks of absolutely $0 and get our stories into your publication. So,
Making
Adam,
a ton of exposure, though.
yeah, it is. It's we're very exposed.
What kind of stories you got for us? Better make it good.
Chinese authorities seize 12 tons of beaver penises smuggled from Canada.
I like it.
Just for the record, that means somebody had to have the job of weighing beaver penises.
1 ton.
Oh my gosh, that's
2
so
ton.
true.
Right?
3 ton. 4 ton. Can I have a break? 5 ton.
Let's keep going.
What scale does that look like?
Were they frozen? Were they freeze dried? Were they
Yeah, we need more information here.
were they wet?
It doesn't say whether they've been freeze dried or preserved. I'm gonna hope it's some kind of preserved because there's a picture of these giant what look like potato sacks
Oh my god.
sitting on a dock. But apparently, I did not know this. But apparently, beaver penises are a part of quote unquote traditional Chinese medicine. I don't know how an animal that is not native to China can be part of traditional Chinese medicine, but
Wood.
They probably they're like unicorns. They're like-
used as let's see. Oh, that's all it said. So I'm going to guess some kind of aphrodisiac. But yeah, they said that they must have come from. This is the number that staggered me. That for this to have happened, they would have needed 400 to 600,000 beavers had to have been killed to produce this many penises.
The beaver farms of the great Pacific Northwest.
I feel like this happened because trappers over the years had like trapped beavers, like took their skins and like out the back of their log cabin just threw beaver penises. They were like, we don't need these. And then somebody was like, oh my God, look at all these beaver penises. We should totally ship these to China.
Keith, you're obviously missing the part where they first threw them at all their buddies to try to freak them out.
Right, yeah.
Beaver penis, catch.
Made you look at the beaver penis. I don't even know how this got started. That's the fascinating part. Because somebody had to think, like, well, I can use this for a coat, right? And I could probably eat this part, and then I'll put this in a sack just in case I need it
I
later.
keep saying the wood. You guys don't get
And
the
sell
wood.
it to China so they can sell it. Apparently, this haul was worth between 40 to 50 billion.
What?
That's amazing.
50 billion what? Not dollars.
US.
Not dollars.
Billion US dollar.
15 billion US dollars?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to do some math here.
No, it's 50 billion cricket penises, which is what they use to pay for. Yeah.
50 billion.
All
Well,
of
that-
the murder.
That's
This
a
is
million.
about China, Keith, not Venezuela.
Oh man, you can't even get to that high on this calculator. Oh,
The
if I turn
calculator's-
it this way.
Yeah.
This
You-
way.
There you go.
Okay, 50 billion divided by 13.5 tons.
So you're trying to find out
12.7.
a billion per ton? Is it-
3.7 billion per ton of penis.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
that's so messed up. Divided by 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So that's it's 1.8 million per pound.
Per pound of penis. You want to pound that penis? Yeah. It's worth that
So
much.
the reason I'm going to put this in my paper is because there's a link to the synthetic beaver penis trade, and there's a deep story there. So yeah, we'll run with it. Front page.
All right. Excellent. Laura doesn't seem to agree with you.
You look skeptical, Laura. Wow.
I might only include it to be like, what the fuck are we doing as a humanity?
Eating penis?
That's my perspective.
What we should do is we should investigate this to find out if the beavers are still alive. Because that would make it
All right,
even...
what do we think? What do we think? Let's think about it.
Huge colonies of eunuch beavers.
Yeah,
Define alive.
right. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe not
let's
the
be
best
real.
life. Yeah.
Mm.
I like the starfish, which if you cut off a leg, the starfish will grow back the leg.
Yeah.
Same thing with beaver penis. If you cut off a beaver's penis,
I'd
if
heard...
you water the penis, another beaver grows.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, from the penis, but an entire beaver grows. Yeah.
We can put this in the box of the volcano conspiracy.
Oh man, I hope my mom doesn't listen to this. Anyways,
Do you think they found this because there's one creepy beaver making a dam out of other beaver penises? And they were like, do not go near him. He is super crazy. And they were like, oh, we'll take that up.
if you follow it down, it's because somebody once ate beaver penis. Was like, whoa, eat this, and it makes you super hard
Yeah, I guess.
because of wood.
Wood. All the wood in it.
Yeah, I've annoyed myself.
Why don't we just try the old school method?
Which is
Just nudity.
Yeah, like,
Seems to work.
having fun with other people.
Yeah,
and
like-
not going to beaver penis. Like what?
Yeah. I
You
don't
know how it is. They've been living with you for a while. Things are starting to get stale. They shot down the threesome idea. You got to spice things up somehow.
Well, what is it a
Not my
threesome if
first
you
choice.
if you bring a beaver penis to bed with you? I feel like that's also you have to get consent on that.
oh, is that how you consume it? You take the whole penis with you to bed.
right? And you sleep with it. You smoke it. All right. So it's news.
Curious.
A conservative pastor has said Jesus would have beat the crap out of John Bolton. Yeah. Wow. As a quote, W.W.J.D.M.M.A, he would have made a whip and beat the crap out of him. I assume he means Jesus Christ, unless he's talking about a guy he knows named Jesus, who's very violent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
People like the
Wow.
shock factor, don't they?
I feel like
Jesus would never do that.
he'd
He'd want to smoke him up.
I would want to go up to this guy and be like, you watched the movie, right? You didn't read the whole book. There's no way you read the book. I feel like if you did, you would think differently, but you had the illustrated one, right? That's what you had. Yeah, I think this is fantastic to publicly say that.
funny.
I'm like, you should be able to have something revoked, right? There should be some God card that you can be like, nope, that's not, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah, to so fundamentally misinterpret the character of Jesus. It's just ridiculous.
Well, he would know him better. He's a pastor, for God's sakes. He's obviously personally had a connection with Jesus, unlike the rest of us. So how could he possibly be wrong?
He has that Jesus card he can pull.
That is true. Unless, of course, he's high on beaver penises, which might be the problem. That statement itself, yeah, that statement itself is like 3 tons of beaver penises right there.
Oh, that's the new scale.
Yeah,
I give that article 4 pounds,
4 pounds of beaver penises.
which is like $20 million.
Yeah.
Did you know
So is it news?
No,
No?
no,
No. All right.
That's not going to go in my paper.
Not at all.
Want nothing to do with that shenanigans.
All right. Laura, you seem skeptical again.
I'd be open to it.
Yeah?
I think it's always interesting just how we kind of talked about this earlier, just how people come to conclusions like these fascinate me.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up in my brain. The only way it does is that this pastor, I suppose, views being a fighter as something that's glorified, and so maybe they're trying to translate that over to their congregation.
That could
you
be,
know?
yeah.
But that I don't identify with it, so
Right.
it doesn't match my worldview.
Great news, everybody. Your Lord and Savior is going to build a whip and hit you with it because he's a great guy.
Did Jesus lay a hand on Mary Magdalene? Is that the story?
I mean,
I wasn't there.
in a manner of speaking.
has he ever hurt anybody? Is there
Yeah.
a story of him being violent once?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think so either.
No, he did. He did force people to eat a lot of fish, which I thought was rude.
Yeah.
Because fish
I
is
know.
just not that good.
I'm not that good.
Why couldn't you have
filter
steaks?
fish?
I don't even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wanna-
Another fish, for fuck's sake! Come on! Oh, let me guess. More bread. More bread. More bread and fish,
You
everybody.
got two options here.
Yeah. I couldn't get a goddamn quiche. What kind of savior is this?
So that was already enough complaints. You don't want to add in more complaints about it not being cooked to the right temperature for them.
Right. Yeah.
So bony. Thanks, Jesus. So
A lot of
bony.
people. If you read the Bible in that section, they also say that it was a miracle that his hollandaise didn't break. That was, yeah. It's hard to do. It's very difficult, especially in that humidity. Like a lot of
In the
people can't pull
desert.
that off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tricky. Yeah.
It was like the 6.5 miracle that he did. It was kind of impressive, but probably just from years of experience. All right. So
So much doing.
I really wish I could have seen the congregation's reaction to this pastor saying,
Oh, I can
saying
tell
said
you.
things.
Yeah. No, I know what it was. Yeah.
Oh
that's
my
right!
gosh.
Woo! Yeah. W.W.J.D.M.M.A. That's the new bracelet they have.
Silliness.
Yeah.
Silliness.
All right. So
Sunday, Jesus.
yes. Right. Same day, different event. Right? Martinez says that he can kick his ass, but he doesn't know it's the Lord's day.
Can you see the cross that I'm carrying?
He comes in.
No, that's not a good one.
They've got the music blaring. He's carrying a cross down the aisle.
Ooh, he's going to do a signature move. Here comes the stigmata.
Oh. He's down. Oh, he's putting the crown of thorns on him. Oh my God.
One,
There's blood
2,
everywhere.
3 days. He's back to life.
This is so sacrilegious. I would just like to apologize to everyone who's offended for the way you were raised. So,
Yeah.
all right. So moving on.
So last week, Keith, you did a story about how apparently people in Congress are only allowed to bring milk or water onto the Senate floor.
Yes.
Well, I can now identify at least one senator who unfortunately does not listen to our show because Romney busted with contraband chocolate milk bottle on Senate floor.
That is not allowed.
milk
God
on the
damn
Senate
it.
floor.
We have rules.
There is a fabric of this country built
Im-
on milk.
Impeach that
Without
man.
Chocolate in it.
Yeah, that they strictly said no chocolate milk.
Mormons.
So on one hand, it's another reason to not like Romney because he doesn't listen to our show. On the other hand, I kind of have to like the guy because I too love chocolate.
That's true. Yeah. No, that's valid.
I'm 31 years old and I still make Ovaltine every morning to take my pills with. So
I
I feel like
Ovaltine. I love Ovaltine.
I haven't had Ovaltine in forever.
Oh, it's a special flavor.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Have you had
It's been a
Ovaltine?
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I think I've had chocolate milk since I've had Ovaltine. Like there have been those moments, but Ovaltine's a long time ago. Warm or cold?
cold.
Don't make it sound like that's not an option. You make it
Because
sound-
when you make it warm, it's now hot chocolate.
Right.
That's a different thing.
And then what kind of milk? What kind of milk do you use?
Oh, whatever's available, as long as it's not skim.
just
Yeah.
heavy cream.
Heavy whipping cream
Right.
Ovaltine.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Right. It's 3 sticks of butter and an Ovaltine.
Milk was a
Nothing
bad
like
choice.
All right. So is it news? We have a rogue senator drinking chocolate milk at the impeachment proceedings. He's not actually being impeached himself.
Yet
Why
an-
not? He's drinking chocolate milk against Senate rules. Vote of no confidence.
I continue to find these things interesting, but also that would consequentially also overrule some other news story, right? So is it
you-
of value?
You can make it as
To the
large as you want.
society.
You have as many pages as you
Oh,
want.
okay, so it could be just like a sentence or,
Yeah,
or
sure.
a full page.
Yeah, you
Fair
can do
enough.
whatever you're the editor in chief. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Maybe we could have a section of just all the really silly things going on in the world.
That's going to be your
like
whole thing.
true or false. Did this really happen? It would engage the readers. It might be fun.
I feel like your entire, like if you haven't caught on to the theme yet, the entire thing's going to be that. If you're waiting for the serious news to come, this is going to be a long program.
Mean potatoes. No, it's all side items here.
Fun time. Go along for the ride.
All right. Sounds like it's in. It sounds like it's in. A postal worker rented a storage unit to hide mail because he felt, quote unquote, pressured to deliver it.
Wow.
Yeah. He felt like he was being really pressured to deliver the mail, and he
Didn't
just,
want that.
yeah. And so he decided to put it in a storage unit instead.
Because that's what people do when they take jobs. They
That's what
plan
most-
to not do the job.
Most of the U.S. Postal Service, they do steal the mail and hide it.
This is an amazing. I wish there's some.
It's not true.
Some of it I wish would, right? Like, so they found all of this mail and like the first class mail stuff, they delivered all that, but like all of the like advertisements and everything, they just threw those away because they were no longer really valid since it had happened over a year period.
Sure.
And I want to be like, can I sign up for that service? How do I sign up for the hold stuff for a year and then just throw it away service?
On purpose.
Yeah.
I would go for that
beautiful.
junk mail, yeah.
Yeah. I would just go like electronic billing for everything, and then you just throw everything away for me.
Just stop the service. Just stop it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remove your mailbox. What would they
Keep the
do?
trees. Yeah.
It's a super I kind of feel for this guy, right? Because it's a super interesting story. Essentially, he was going and doing his normal deliveries, and
Got
at some
tired.
and at some point he didn't get through them all, right? And was kind of like embarrassed by that. So he thought, well,
I'll just go home.
I'll take these home and then I'll deliver them tomorrow. Right? I'll just do it tomorrow. No big deal. Right? And then he kind of fell behind, and then it was too big, so he put him in a storage unit because he wouldn't want to throw them away. That
Days
would be
turned
wrong.
into weeks.
They
weeks,
paid for the
months.
storage unit.
And then he just got to a point where it was so overwhelming because there's just tens of thousands of letters that he's like, if I deliver them now, they'll know I haven't been delivering them.
I'll lose my
And
job.
yeah, and so he just ended up like resigning, and then they found like all of these letters, and they were like, "What the hell?"
Oh.
Yeah, so
Fascinating.
it's a
They didn't pay him well enough. They didn't honor his job well enough. He would have been barked at one too many times. There was no cookies. There was no Christmas cards with a little tiny gift for him anymore. His job had been relegated to just crap. People were cheering for the Amazons, cheering for the Primes, and then what did he get? Nothing.
nothing.
So he was like, "Screw you guys! You get half your mail.
Half your exactly
I'm keeping the other half."
exactly 80% of your
It's
mail.
kind of like a Robin Hood. No, that doesn't work.
He was stealing from
Not at
the
all.
rich and giving it to a storage unit.
It doesn't work. Can't hold water. No, gotta try
Yeah.
a different one.
So if it's a crime to open someone else's mail, is it a crime to hoard someone else's mail if you don't
So-
open it?
Yeah, so there is a law
Yeah.
of delaying mail by
Mhm.
especially by workers, like people who deliver mail.
Makes
You
sense.
you have to legally
to be.
deliver it.
Yeah.
But he didn't destroy any of it, and he didn't open any of it. So I think he avoided kind of some of these larger charges. But it's just a perfect example of sometimes with the best of intentions, things can like just like end up snowballing to a point where they're completely there's nothing you can do, and your only way out is like I'm just gonna leave, right? Like what I don't know how to solve this anymore.
Gonna give up?
Yeah, it was all these little problems each day, just having some mail he couldn't finish, and then ended up with tens of thousands. And he's like, "Well, now if I deliver them, they'll know." So yeah,
Yeah, and it's sad too because it all started because he was embarrassed, didn't want to admit that he wasn't able to fulfill his job, and
Yeah.
then down the line he had to admit to a full storage unit, you know,
Right.
more or less. So that's really fascinating.
and this is how addiction happens,
I agree.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
This is how hoarding happens.
right? You're like, "Well, I'm drinking, but it's probably not that bad." And sometimes I drink when I'm alone, but it's like, is it? I shouldn't tell anyone about it. And then it just gets worse and worse. And you're like, well, I'm definitely not going to tell them now because now I'm drinking every night. And then just worse and worse and worse. And since you don't have any way to like stop it, that it ends up just snowballing all by yourself, and nobody can be like, "Hey, do you need some help? Like, can I help you with stuff?"
Poor guy.
Yeah. So all
Probably in
right.
jail too.
Yeah. Is it? So is it news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam.
Crazy news.
I think we might have to cut this one short 'cause we've been having too much fun
Yeah. Well,
with
you know.
these. I would much rather hear about their music than
All right.
these other really bad stories. They're all real. I'm even looking at yours. We should talk to them.
Well, I feel like mine are very, very
I'm just
good.
trying to keep you from embarrassing yourself here, really.
Everything else was about drugs. I assume that's it. Is that fair?
Sure.
All right.
That seems fair.
All right. So let's move over to finding out a little bit more about your music. Right. So genre wise, we know that it's very free flowing and jammy. What types of music do you go through when you do this? Do you experiment with kind of different genres as you're going from kind of scene to scene?
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kinds of things do you experiment with?
Well, I guess I'm going to try to explain the weirdness of the band. It started in my head as an EDM project. Okay. I love, like I said earlier, drum and bass and jungle and break beats. I do an appreciation for all the other tempos too, from glitch to trip hop and happy hardcore and chip tunes and all sorts of electronica. To me, as those BPMs changed from the slow stuff to the fast stuff, the way that most electronica producers did it seemed to be the same. The built-in 16 measure, 32 measure, 8 measure segments when a new part layer comes in and then is replaced.
We're very familiar with that feeling.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The DJ came around and kind of killed live music by taking his case of LPs or his laptop to a club, and that one person being able to make the people dance all night long.
Right.
That DJ, if they were good, could be sensitive to what the crowd was listening to and whether they were happy with what he was or she was playing. The DJ could see a dance floor empty out, then recognize their mistake and switch back to what was filling up the dance floor.
Yeah.
There was a sensitivity there that I've always really enjoyed. I like, maybe I even love a really good DJ who can really set a party on fire. I've always really liked that.
Read the room and not just do kind of what they do, but a participant in what the night is.
Right. So it started as what would it would sound like with 3 or 4 drummers? What would it sound like instead of a laptop and pressing the space bar?
Yeah.
All those layers being made acoustically by live musicians.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we started out writing a drum and bass song, a house song, a flat out trippy hip hop song. And then as the tempos have gone up and down, we've changed. We've included funk. We've included, all sorts of things. So it is very cross genre.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pin down because as the tempo changes, as the crowd changes, we change.
Do you have a wheelhouse that you kind of emerge from? Like, is there some comfort area that you base your explorations from, and people kind of expect from you? That then, for instance, like, do you consider yourself kind of more of a rock band that also dives into these other genres, or anything in particular, or jazz, or?
Yeah, not exactly. I mean, just to go back to the mission statement of dance, we intend for everything that we create to be danceable.
Gotcha.
So
just kind of energy.
Right.
That's really what runs it.
Pulsing rhythm, layers,
As people have joined or left the band, I've discovered that they will, as musicians, kind of rest on their laurels. They will be who they are on stage and as they add these levels. So I think I'm fairly consistent with playing electronic based beats.
Okay.
I love playing a really strong funky backbeat or a breakbeat. But Larry, our current bassist, he loves the Grateful Dead. He loves Fish.
Oh, okay.
So those elements find their way into most of what he plays. He's unconstrained, so he does what he does. He plays his thing. When you put a flute into this environment, there aren't many examples for her to be constrained by, so she can play whatever she wants to play.
So what you're saying,
in any manner she wants to do it, and it fits and it works.
I love it.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's less about a band exploring different genres and more about a melange of different genres creating the music.
Well said.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, if people want to check that out and see it live, which sounds like the place that they need to do it,
It's a lot of fun.
they should go down to the Pocket in Washington, D.C., which is next to Seven Drum City, Saturday, February 8th, and go check that out live. You're playing with a couple of other bands, is that right?
Albino Rhino and Ted and Company
Excellent.
are the openers, and so doors are at 7. We will have Ted and Company around 8, and then 9 o'clock Albino Rhino, and 10 p.m. The bands will be growing with each ensemble, and then we'll go on around 10 until 11.
And
Very cool.
We're not charging at the doors. We did something different this time, right?
Yeah. There's not a set price. It's unique in that it's a fundraiser. So it's
fun.
donation by entry. The organization is Casa Ruby. It's a nonprofit local to the DC area. They have a whole smorgasbord of wonderful services that they offer between preventative health care, social services. They have a crisis hotline 24/7. They have translation services for people that are immigrants, things like that. So they're really trying to be this helpful hand in the DC region. And so we're raising money for that wonderful cause. So even if you donate $2, you would get in, but we're, hopeful that we'll of course raise a good amount for this wonderful organization.
Yeah, and if you've never heard of Casa Ruby before, go check them out. Great mission statement. They do some really great work here in the DC area. So that's awesome. So we get to great music and a great cause, which is always goes hand in hand in a fantastic way.
Yeah.
And check out for more information about this show, other shows that are coming up, to check out some of the live sessions we'll be doing later in the year. Go to spaceandtimeband.com, and we'll talk about the Fold sessions maybe a little later. I think
Sure, no big deal.
we'll take up one of our stories on that, I think. Cool. All right, so moving on. Let's do a little segment we like to call Please God Just Get One Right. It's a game show.
Awesome. I love trivia.
Yeah.
How's that for some hard-hitting electronica with a dancey beat?
Yeah,
I loved it.
Definitely.
loved it. It made me boogie.
that is definitely a melange, and not in a good way. But
The bad melange.
yeah,
Ooh, band name.
yeah,
We are the
melange
bad-
a trois.
The bad melange.
All right, so
It's a metal band.
here's how it works. The game show is very simple. We have 6 different questions, trivia questions, on a topic that was chose for you by our last guest, the Invisibles.
Cool.
Travis and Molly were here last week. They're playing January 31st at Public Bar Live in Washington, D.C. So timing-wise, you can still, if you don't like the topic, you could go to their show and be like, what the hell?
What did you do, Brandon? Molly, come here. We have to have some words.
You can check them out at theinvisiblesdc.bandcamp.com. Are you ready for your category?
Bring it on.
All right. This is going to be challenging, I think. Ballet.
Woo!
Sweet.
How you feeling? You feel
Yeah.
little confidence.
I know
All right, this is
nothing
good.
about this one. Great.
You've
I'm
got
actually
a
good.
ringer. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see.
These are not easy, but that's okay. That's if you get one right, you get a prize. So Adam, start us off with our first question.
The dancers in early court ballets were mostly noble amateurs. They performed in large chambers with viewers on 3 sides. The implementation of what architectural feature in 1618 distanced performers from audience members who could then better view and appreciate the technical feats of the professional dancers in the productions?
Say the second half again.
The implementation of what architectural feature in 1618 distanced performers from audience members who could then better view and appreciate the technical feats of the professional dancers in the productions?
So this is an architectural feature that provided distance from the dancers and the audience so that you could see kind of the whole of the performance better.
Well, the stage was lifted.
I'm going to say an architectural feature, maybe something like a proscenium. That's a theater feature.
He got it.
Yeah,
The proscenium
that's
arch.
Perfect.
Nailed it!
Oh, first one.
Beautiful.
Bam.
Proscenium arch.
We are
That is it.
on the map. Hey.
Look at that. It's all gravy
Awesome.
now.
We're talking about
Well done.
nerd time. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I pulled that one out of what? How does he know?
How do you like that he was like, I don't know anything about this, and then pulled that out?
But that wasn't a ballet. That was not a ballet question. That was a question of the theater. And I love the theater. All the prosceniums, the false prosceniums, the wings, the flies, all the fun things that make
The
it fun.
voms,
The voms, the pit,
the
Yeah.
vomitoriums.
This is the vomitorium.
Yeah.
All theaters had vomitoriums.
They did. They still do.
No, they did
Yeah, they
not.
do.
The Roman theaters, maybe.
No, they all have vomitoriums.
Tell me more. I don't know.
A
About this one.
vomitorium is an exit way for people to spew out into the streets or the outside area. So if you're ever at,
I like it.
that's a legit thing. That's where
I
it comes
believe
from.
you. I
So
believe
you know
you.
how you go down aisles,
would I know?
out an exit, and then spread. That's your vomitorium. That is-
Viva le vomitorium.
a lot of people think it's just a place that you drink a whole lot and then you throw up into, and that's not the case.
I thought it was like a Roman place where you like feast and then tickle your throat
Yeah,
with a little
no,
feather.
no.
Okay, never mind.
It is for short, they call them voms, but it's vomitorium.
We all learn something new every day.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's just off the top of my dome.
Damn, is there 6 more? I hope I get 5 more.
All right.
awesome.
What bone in the female teenage ballet dancer's body is prone to stress fractures? And if you're gonna say beaver penis, then that's wrong.
I think the ladies don't have that way.
I'll give you a hint. It's not the feet. That's not. It isn't feet.
I'm so
What-
tempted to say female.
Yeah.
But that's not right.
What bone in the female teenage ballet dancer's body is prone to stress fractures?
Say that pelvic bone.
Mm.
Is that a bone?
Pelvic bone? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell by the last bit where it says bone.
What if the shins?
The shins?
The tibula, the fibula.
Yeah, somewhere around that part of the body. But
And it is not. It's the first rib, actually.
What?
Yeah. The first rib is very prone
Huh.
to stress
Is it
fractures.
counted from the bottom or the top?
Huh?
Is this one, two,
this
three,
one
or
down here.
da-
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it's
okay,
less supported than the other ribs. It's like a floating rib.
It is a floating
And
rib.
lifts and stuff like that. You get stress fractures from that. Mm-hmm.
Learn something new every day.
All right. So,
Okay.
Adam, what's your next one?
King Louis XIV founded the Académie Royale des Danses, or the Royal Dance Academy, to establish standards and certify dance instructors. In 1672, Louis made Jean-Baptiste Lully the director of this institution, from which the first professional ballet company, the Paris Opera Ballet, arose. By 1681, the first ballerinas, quote-unquote, took stage following years of training at the academy. What year was this influential academy founded?
Listen to the entire question.
He always makes really long questions. I don't know why. He's like, let me explain to you what happened in France for 13 centuries. Which century was important?
I think he said 1682. What do you think, Laura?
let's do it.
All right.
No, 1661.
Damn.
Near and everything.
So close!
Yeah.
What I love is that before this, he says, so St. Louis created this academy to establish standards and certify dance instructors. So it means before they were just rogue dancers.
With no standards.
Right. They were like, try it on your hands. And they're like, are you sure? I'm a dance instructor. You're drinking right now. That's what we do.
More leg. More leg.
It's a rule. We must drink.
Yeah. Right. Like, they were like, we've got to curtail this. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, so your legs are like split. Can you make them go like all the way to the side?
Yeah.
Drink a rib or two.
And if you think about it, it got so bad that the government had to step in. Right? Like the government had to be like, holy shit, that's not ballet. Are you kidding me? All of those people are covered in butter, for God's sake.
No more butter. Pointy shoes. That's it.
I said butterlay. It's butterlay. I don't understand.
No, I think the heart of this bit of comedy would be like what they lost.
Yeah.
I don't want butter. No more
Yeah,
butter.
butter.
What else
What do you
they
even call
lose?
this kind of dance? The aristocrats.
Is this? Are you sure this is ballet? No, I said ole. Ole. You're currently in milk. You're in milk. That's what we do here.
They lost butter. They no more chicken.
Right.
They're not super skinny, not skinny enough. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it apparently got terrible. All right. So the prima ballerina is the chief female ballet dancer in the ballet company. Can you name the first major American prima ballerina who was also the first Native American prima ballerina?
What?
Yeah.
There's no such thing. They don't let them.
Oh.
What?
They don't know how to.
They don't let them.
No,
They don't. I
don't
thought
be
they wouldn't
like
let them.
They won't let them dance. They won't let them dance in the ballet because every time they do, it rains. Is that super racist? I feel like that was super racist. Yeah.
I feel
That was probably-
that
yeah. It was funny, but it was like super racist, and I apologize. So.
Yeah, I just learned recently that they let not white people do ballet. So I
There
That's
you go.
not true. Certainly not true.
No.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
It's only been for what's true. In the past couple of years, the first ballet shoes have came out that aren't pink and white. So
Right.
they've done that.
Yeah, it's inclusive. I like it.
Oh gosh,
So yeah.
what's her
Any
name?
any chance?
I think her name is Elizabeth Warren.
She is definitely Native American. That's right. No, unfortunately, that is not true. Maria Tallchief. That is the first Native American prima ballerina. And
Beautiful.
Yeah.
For the New York Ballet, for
in the U.S.
in the U.S.
Yeah, in the
Okay.
U.S. For a major American prima ballerina.
Right.
All right, Adam.
The tutu is often associated with ballet and comes in two forms. The classical tutu, which is stiff and projects horizontally from the waist,
Yeah.
and the romantic tutu, which is soft and bell-shaped. The romantic tutu made its first appearance in what year at the Paris Opera, where Marie Taglioni wore a gauzy white skirt cut to reveal her ankles.
Oh.
Wow, cut to reveal her ankles. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Both of her ankles.
Well, they wouldn't be able to handle that.
Man.
Yeah, crazy.
Not at the same time.
Just the right one, I think, it was when it started.
This is way before the G-string tutu.
Oh my god!
A real evolution.
Oh,
Less romantic,
man.
but super hot.
More years. Make one up.
There you go. Any ideas?
They debuted in, like what he said, 1866, right? 62,
Yeah.
1492, 1867.
While Columbus was sailing the ocean blue, they
He
made a
forgot
tutu.
His special tutu.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
yes.
rhymes. It makes perfect sense.
For you.
What was the number you guessed?
1866.
Oh, it was very close, but 1832.
Not bad though. Not bad.
I'm just getting tortured with these years.
Right.
Not even
That's
close.
tricky.
Man.
It's way easier than just breaking things in the studio. That's all right. All right, last but not least, here's your chance to double up your score. The point shoe was worn by ballet dancers who stand on their tippy toes while dancing. The shoe is constructed out of a box which supports the toe, a shank, which is the hardened sole of the shoe, and a piece of fabric on top of the shoe, which lays over the toes and the top of the foot. What is this final piece called? So there's the box, the shank, and then the fabric that goes all over the foot and both of those other pieces. What is that fabric called? What is that piece?
I mean, the ribbon actually goes up your leg, but you're talking about the elastic piece.
No, I think we're talking about the shoe bit. What you would usually consider a shoe that goes over the toe, right?
All right.
So if you think about
The
it,
very front.
box is where supports the toe. That's where the toes go into. The shank, which is the sole of the shoe that helps support weight, and then the front of the shoe, which is the fabric on the top of the shoe, which then lays over the toes.
I think that's what they call the tongue of the shoe.
Let's do it. Yeah. Let's
Tongue
give it
of
a,
the shoe.
Let's give it a body part.
It is not. Unfortunately. It is the vamp of the shoe.
Vamp.
Mm-hmm.
How many years did you do ballet, Laura?
Oh, a couple.
Yeah.
But we don't go over the history. We don't talk about the names of the labels for the point shoe parts.
I
So
don't.
we just don't.
All right, so I'm gonna get you your prize.
Yes.
While I'm off microphone, you guys have to think about what the category is that you want our next guest.
Oh, I have
To
one.
guess. All
I
right.
had one as soon as you talked about.
All right, you tell the audience what the category is for next week.
Unless someone has something better, I want the category for their conversation next week to be the moons of Saturn.
Moons of Saturn. All right. Excellent.
Super nerdy.
I haven't
It's just done.
wrapped any of these, so somebody's gonna have to close their eyes and grab into my sack. And
Go for it, Laura.
yeah, just put it in there.
Put it. Oh, like reach deep in the
There we
sack.
go.
If it feels
Can I get
warm, that's
all of
natural. If it feels
them?
cold, withdraw
Just
immediately.
one?
Yeah, what did you get?
Oh, we won a chandelier 3D air freshener. The scent of success.
Let me sniff it. You sniff. You want to sniff it first?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you can sniff it first.
There you go. You can both sniff it at the same time. We can Lady in the Tramp it.
Oh, but we have to share the
This-
microphone
oh,
according to Alan's
Does this-
interpretation of
Not done yet.
Does this smell like success? Yeah. All right. So moons of Saturn.
This is
Is
going
that
to be
right?
fun for me to mix later.
So if you want to try and guess along with our next guest for 6 questions about the moons of Saturn, please listen in next week and you can check that out. So let's move on while we still have time. We're getting a little late in our game, but I want to make sure that we take some time to talk about a really interesting project you have coming up called the Fold Sessions.
Sure.
Right? So what's going on with that?
We're in pre-production.
Okay.
We are using the Fold space.
What is the Fold space? Because I think a lot of people don't know that. What is the Fold?
Well, it's a secret location
Okay, of course. You don't want...
for us.
Is it in a volcano?
It is at the bottom of a volcano.
A man-made volcano?
And the secret location has been a place where I've been gifted, or maybe I earned it, or I just lucked into it. I gifted the curation of the place. That's the word, the curation. I'm the curator.
So it's like an art space,
I'm
right?
a music space, a space for people to come together and join, to do things together. Community is a super important thing for me.
Yeah.
Making these communities meet and overlap, like folding pieces of paper together, like you fold ingredients together when you were baking.
Yeah. And it involves not only music, but like physical art, fine art, and performance art and dance. Different anything that people do that is creative.
Right.
That's encouraged to kind of create these collaborations
I agree.
across those different genres, right?
Right.
Okay.
So these Fold Sessions are going to start as a web series.
Okay.
We're going to probably drop our first couple episodes the late spring, early summer.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a DC artists and musicians and fold them together, cross genre.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Gosh, I don't know how much details I want to go into.
Yeah. So are you going to have? So you'll have like 2 different musicians performing together, or how would that work?
The pilot that we're working on right now, there's a band called Classically Dope.
Mm-hmm.
They are a classical quintet
Okay.
that accompanies a modern, really good rapper.
Okay.
So that's a cross genre there.
Yeah.
We're going to pair them with the lyricist of a silk flyer who flies those beautiful rings.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
the thing.
Absolutely.
So those 3 elements all folded together simultaneously. We're going to film it in
Gotcha.
in 4K, 60 frames per second,
Mm-hmm.
HD. We're going to have crystal clear audio, so we can capture all that together. We're going to mix the audience in and interspace them with the music and the performances that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to interview and give little vignettes and portraits of these really unique artists, and present that as a web series.
That's really cool.
I'm excited.
Will Space and Time be presenting in this? Will they be a part of it?
Yeah.
But of course.
Of course we are. Yeah, it started as just something I wanted to do for my band.
Yeah.
But once I met a couple of people who are willing to do collaborations, and gosh, the more people that I have in the community willing to help make dreams come true, we can zoom out. The scope gets much, much bigger.
Yeah.
You've had hundreds of artists here on your podcast. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just keep going.
We've been amazed. Is there any chance,
It's
Alan, that
amazing.
we'll see you on a silk ring? Like,
Ooh,
yeah.
we should.
In your dreams,
Obviously already.
Keep looking.
Yeah.
in the formal tutu, the one that sticks out straight,
Right.
not the one that forms a dome.
How would people be able to find these Fold Sessions?
They'll be delivered online,
Okay.
in the classical way, social media, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So if I wanted to subscribe and find out, where do I go?
I don't have anything for you yet.
Nothing yet.
Nothing
Okay.
yet. Nothing yet.
So
Just
if you're
the teaser.
interested in that, keep listening to Another Wasted Hour. We'll get you that information up on our Facebook page and stuff like that. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, guys. Did you have a good time?
Absolutely. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much for having
Yeah,
us.
we did as well. Space and Time, Saturday, February 8th at the Pocket in Washington, D.C. Go check them out. The full session's coming out throughout the year. We'll get you that information another time. Also, check out spaceandtimeband.com to get more information about their music and their live shows. Also, don't forget, we need your help. Please like our post, follow us, retweet us, share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. Also, don't forget to review us on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area, we want you on our show. Email us at bookinganotherwasted.hour. Thanks to everyone for all their contributions, but most of all, thanks to our guests, Space and Time, and you, our fans, for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been Another Wasted Hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.